Dear viewers, welcome to this YouTube channel. In this chapter, there will be an explanation of the issue with twins as follows. The issue with twins. Chakra system which requires the calculation of the natal chart. This cannot explain the difference between the twins because the birth time is almost identical for the twins. In the past, the difference could be at least an hour. The ascendants may end up being different from each other, though they may differ from each other for one house at most. In modern days, C-section operation usually occurs, which results in probably just 1 minute birth time difference. Therefore, using the typical calculation of the ascendant without moving the ascendant, time subtraction system is mostly used to, will not be able to explain the difference at all. When the ascendant is placed, the facts of the native that indicate where the ascendant should be, move the ascendant, will usually be ignored. In fact, different exceptions will be used to explain the differences, but they will not be able to provide a good explanation still. This is, therefore, an actual weak spot in Thai astrology with the zodiac chakra system. At the present time, it is known that Thai astrological masters have accepted the transferring of the ascendant method for twin issues. It can be done by placing the elder twin's ascendant at the house according to the birth time. Meanwhile, the younger twin's ascendant will be placed 2 houses away, which is Sahaja Bhava, or companions to each other. This is considered the only case in which ascendant migration is allowed. As a consequence, the issue with twins can be explained to a certain extent. However, my methodologies have already used ascendant migration. If the horoscope does not match with the native's life, the ascendant will be moved 1 house forward or backward no matter how accurate the birth time is. 1 house at most. The same thing applies to twin issues. There was one case that the younger twin's ascendant had to be calculated using the real birth time. The time difference was 1 minute. Then the elder twin's ascendant was moved 2 houses forward so that the fortune-telling corresponded with their lives, which were very different from each other in almost every aspect. Additionally, there was one case of male and female twins. Their birth times were 1 minute from each other as well. Their behaviors and other aspects were very similar, and therefore their ascendants had to be placed in the same house. They could not be placed in different houses. Therefore, in the case of twins, it should be observed that the calculation of the ascendant should be based on the pieces of information given by the natives. The natives must be old enough to have sufficient information. If the natives are still young, the ascendants should be placed in the same house. When they get older and the differences can be observed, the ascendants may be carefully calculated again. When placing the ascendants according to the birth time, it should be checked if it matches with the elder twin or the younger twin. In case it matches for both of them, the ascendants may be placed in the same house. If not, the ascendants may be placed 1 house or 2 houses away from each other. At most 2 houses away from each other. The elder twin's ascendant may be in front of the younger twin's ascendant. It depends on which one is used as the main one. Based on common textbooks concerning twin issues, there is ascendant migration of 2 houses away, despite that there would be no ascendant migration in normal cases at all. The time subtraction is also used. It is uncertain why they only allow ascendant migration just for twin issues, despite that it sometimes makes the fortune-telling and the native's life correspond to each other. In general cases, it should also be allowed if it gives a more accurate result without needing any exceptions or other further explanations. Even in the present time, there are still some astrologers that usually say, if the birth time is unknown, it would be impossible to calculate the ascendant. However, it is also said that astrologers in the past usually asked for further pieces of information to speculate the position of the ascendant as well. In this subject's methodologies, it does not matter if the birth time is known or not. The ascendant can still be calculated despite being a bit complicated. This is because the native has to be asked for her behaviors, skills, experiences, etc. Moreover, the native usually does not understand herself very much. Therefore, the information may neither be accurate nor clear. On the other hand, a few pieces of reliable information will make the calculation possible. Therefore, this subject's methodologies do not depend on the birth time and place. No matter where the native is born, which birth time it is, it will be enough to use the local time, without time subtraction, to calculate the ascendant and do fortune telling. But it has to be adjusted to the native background, as already mentioned. An example, a twin pair that gave birth by C-section and has a 1-minute birth time difference. Both of them are female and their behaviors and other characteristics are very different. The younger twin, 01047, has the ascendant in Scorpio. Venus, 6, is Tonused, Saturn, 7, and Uranus, 0, are conjoined with the ascendant. She is full of thoughts and considerations. Her emotions are unstable. Tonulak is Mars, 3, which is pre-exaltation dignified. It indicates that she is a tough, strong-willed, and full of reasons. Tonulak, the Moon, 2, is exaltation dignified and in opposition to the ascendant. This makes the native well-mannered and charming. Strong inside but humble outside. The native will have a good partner. Mercury, 4, is pre-exaltation dignified. Maha Chakra, Raja Yoga will be very beneficial although it is not related to the ascendant. The native is thorough, good at studying, quiet, not very demonstrative, but when the native speaks, she can do it well. Additionally, the native likes to utilize information. The financial planet is pre-exaltation dignified Mars, 3. Jupiter, 5, is subdomicile, which indicates slowly increasing stability. Saturn, 7, and Rahu, 8, are related to the ascendant. Therefore, the native is very agile and can perform well in both soft work and hard work. Meanwhile, the elder twin, 01053, has the same positions for all the planets. It is just Jupiter, 5, which is Tonused. This implies that the native is sympathetic, soft-hearted, and optimistic. Although it falls into Aribhava, which leads to a lack of good judgment sometimes. The ascendant is in Virgo. Venus, 6, is debilitation dignified and conjoins with the ascendant. This indicates that the native possesses a strange taste of art and dreams. Tonulak is Mercury, 4, which is very positive. Although it falls into Venushana plus Jupiter, 5, is in Aribhava. The native usually talks without thinking first. Saturn, 7, plus Uranus, 0, is in forward sextile. This indicates that the native lacks carefulness and consideration. Uranus causes instability which differs from the case of the younger twin that has Saturn conjoined with the ascendant. Saturn will always indicate well consideration and thoughtfulness. The native is not diligent. Mars is positive, but is not ascendant related. The financial planet is Venus, 6, which is debilitation dignified that conjoins with the ascendant. The money is both earned and spent, and therefore the economy is not good. The wealth is not stable. The planet in Patni Bhava is Rahu, 8, which is subdomicile from Ari Bhava. The ruling planet of Patni Bhava is Jupiter, 5, falls into Ari Bhava. This indicates that there will be problems concerning partnership or business partnership. They will be in constant conflict with each other. The present work is about trading stocks which coincide with the dominant planet in the natal chart, namely Rahu, 8. It is subdomicile dignified and is in opposition to the ascendant. In common textbooks only Karma Bhava will be considered, which is not correct. The horoscope of the elder twin will not be as strong as the younger twin. Finance, partnership, business partnership, communication, consideration, thoroughness, diligence, and personal behaviors will be totally different from the younger twin. This is a study case of a twin from real experience, which is a good example. Please stay tuned for the upcoming episodes.